Tomorrow, WWE presents Crown Jewel Perth from the RAC Arena in Perth, Western Australia. And it's another international PLE for WWE. But does Paul Triple H Levesque have some major surprises up his sleeve for the premium live event coming out of Australia? In this countdown video, we're going to let you know 5 possible major surprises that could take place tomorrow at WWE Crown Jewel Perth. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And tomorrow, WWE presents Crown Jewel Perth from the RAC Arena in Perth, Western Australia. It's the first time the Crown Jewel PLE is taking place outside of Saudi Arabia. But despite that, the Crown Jewel Championships in the men's and women's divisions of WWE will be up for grabs. Grudges will be looking to get settled and much more. And with that being said, could Paul Triple H Levesque and his creative team have some major surprises planned for the PLE? We're going to get into it, beginning with a major surprise that could possibly happen in the form of John Cena defeating AJ Styles. One of the headline matches for tomorrow's Crown Jewel PLE is the latest stop on John Cena's retirement tour. John Cena doesn't have many dates left with WWE, of course. After Crown Jewel tomorrow, he's only got a couple of Monday Night Raws, an appearance at Survivor Series, and his retirement match in December in Washington, D.C. That's it. This is the fifth date left. That's on his retirement tour. Of course, Cena retiring as an active WWE in-ring superstar this year. And he's also going up against one of his greatest rivals in WWE. We have seen John Cena as part of this retirement tour kind of play the hits with famous and former rivals, including the likes of Randy Orton, CM Punk, and AJ Styles. Of course, Styles really has John Cena to thank for sort of making him in his WWE career. Of course, AJ Styles had a lengthy and historic pro wrestling career prior to coming to WWE in 2016. Styles made his name in the likes of TNA Wrestling, Ring of Honor, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. But when he came to WWE in 2016, there was reservation within WWE about just how big and how good AJ Styles was. And coming out of a feud with Roman Reigns post-WrestleMania for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, AJ Styles went up against John Cena in a match that we never thought could be possible. The face of TNA versus the face of WWE. And they made magic with Styles getting some major victories, arguably the biggest being defeating John Cena clean in the middle of the ring at SummerSlam in 2016. Cena would get a measure of revenge though at the beginning of 2017 when he defeated AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble to become a record-tying 16-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So certainly, as I mentioned, there is history there. And you've got Styles versus Cena at Crown Jewel Perth for the last time ever, not only because Cena's retiring at the end of the year, but also because AJ Styles himself confirmed in the Crown Jewel Perth kickoff show on Friday he'll also be retiring, except unlike Cena in 2025, he will be retiring in 2026, with the expectation, though, it'll probably be fairly early in 2026, most likely just after, or actually at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. So both guys here, their days as in-ring talents are numbered, and Cena, he's been an interesting one as this retirement tour. There's been so much discussion, hasn't there, about how WWE have handled Cena creatively over the past 12 months with the heel turn, and then the very quick babyface turn, and the never-seen 17-time world champion, and some saying that WWE and Paul Triple H Levesque's creative team have kind of botched John Cena's creative throughout his run this year, saying that the heel turn, it was a great moment, but there was no follow-up because of a lack of presence of The Rock and Travis Scott and a terrible WrestleMania main event between himself and Cody Rhodes. But then once Cena turned babyface, recently he's been having some of the best matches of this year with Cody Rhodes in the main event of SummerSlam, Logan Paul at Clash in Paris, and then he faced Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, and people thought this was going to be a really interesting one, and it was pretty much a repeat of what happened at SummerSlam in 2014 when Cena was destroyed and buried within a couple of minutes. So we haven't seen Cena since then. This match has been built up on social media. What version of John Cena are we going to see? Are we going to see a highly competitive match? Are they trying to tell a story about Cena losing all of the matches in the build-up to his retirement match? I don't know. I feel like the match at WrestlePalooza against Brock Lesnar was more to build up Brock for a future match that maybe he's having at WrestleMania or maybe SummerSlam next year. We don't know how long Brock's going to stick around before he retires. So it's difficult to say. what the plan is there. I think that John Cena defeats AJ Styles in this one. I think that Cena, after the nature of the defeat against Brock Lesnar and how quickly and decisive it was, you feel like Cena probably does need a victory here to continue to move on towards his final matches. We don't know how many more matches he has left. We know how many dates he has left, but not how many matches. One would think, obviously, he's going to have his retirement match in December. That's one. At Survivor Series, you think he'll be involved in something, so that's two. And it's just a question of, does he want to have one final match in Madison Square Garden? He could have it on the episode of Raw. Does he possibly, does he possibly want to have one final match at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts for that episode of Raw that he's advertised for as well? So possibly he could have 4 matches left, and if he does, he'd probably want to get back to some winning momentum before he has those ones. So I'm going to go with Cena to defeat Styles here, but maybe they are trying to do a storyline where Cena can't win any matches, and that's why he's going to retire. But I'm going to go with Cena to defeat AJ Styles there. Now, before we move on to the next name on the countdown list here, a reminder, this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our great affiliates, and that includes NordVPN. As I mentioned, tomorrow we're going to be watching WWE Crown Jewel Perth. We're going to be doing a watch-along live on Netflix, and also we'll be doing a post-show once the show goes off the air on Netflix. And yes, I said Netflix. If you're in the United States, you've got to watch Crown Jewel Perth, not on Peacock like you used to be able to, but this time on ESPN's new direct-to-consumer streaming service. And people are saying this is costing me too much money. I've got all of these different streaming services subscriptions, whether it is to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. Now I've got to get ESPN, and there's Peacock as well for NXT PLEs, and I've got YouTube Premium, and I've got Discovery Plus and Paramount Plus. There's just too many. It's costing me too much. Well, what if I told you you can watch all of your WWE content through one Netflix subscription, just like we do here in the UK? Well, you can. Even if you're not in the UK, all you have to do is get a VPN. You can scan that QR code right there, or use our link in the video description below. It'll be pinned in the comment section as well. And if you're in the United States, you can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra free. If you get a VPN like NordVPN, you can change your location to an international territory like here in the UK, where WWE airs exclusively on Netflix, and that means you can watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main roster PLEs, including Crown Jewel Perth, NXT PLEs, and also Saturday Night's Main Event for free on YouTube. That's right, we're talking about John Cena. His retirement match, watch it for free on YouTube at the end of the year. All you've got to do is get NordVPN, save yourself some money, save yourself some time, and also you can support WrestleNews 365 in the process. Your support is really, truly appreciated. Next up, as a major surprise, could we get a new member of the Vision? I feel like I say this in every sort of countdown video we do about a PLE or something like that of, is the Vision going to be limited to Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Big Bronson Reed? Well, when the faction first came together post-WrestleMania 41, and it was only Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Bron Breakker, it was reported at the time that there wasn't any plans for new members of the Vision. That quickly changed, of course, because Bronson Reed's a member of the Vision. But that was going to be it. Well, that quickly changed because Becky Lynch is a member of the Vision. So they're in the mood to add more names to this faction, and you look at the potential for Vision involvement on this show, and it's extensive. You've got, of course, the WWE Crown Jewel Championship match for the men, as undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes faces off against Seth freaking Rollins, Raw's World Heavyweight Champion, and of course the leader of the Vision. So if you have the Vision get involved there, but the numbers are equal because Cody Rhodes certainly has a lot of backup on the WWE roster, maybe a new member of the Vision is the person to give Seth Rollins the victory. I don't think that's likely. I think if we do see a new member of the Vision, I think it could happen in the Australian street fight. We do know that Roman Reigns will be going once again one-on-one with Big Bronson Reed, a rematch of WWE Clash in Paris, except this time it will be in an Australian street fight, which of course favours Bronson Reed, since Bronson Reed hails from Adelaide, South Australia. So he's going to be competing in his native country in an Australian street fight, which of course means anything goes. Anyone can get involved, no disqualifications, and one would think we're going to see involvement from Bron Breakker, Paul Heyman. But in the side of Roman Reigns, we're going to see involvement from Jimmy and Jey Uso. We've seen Roman Reigns be once again involved with his cousins on recent episodes of Monday Night Raw, even though there seemingly are issues brewing between the Usos and Reigns, with Jimmy Uso not necessarily liking Jey's recent behavior as he's displaying more heelish tendencies, and he's also displaying, I guess, characteristics that we saw Roman Reigns display when he was the tribal chief and he turned heel back in 2020. So they're kind of sowing the seeds of problems between the original version of the bloodline. But if you count those numbers there, they're technically equal, but actually the division's a little bit outnumbered there because, yes, you've got 2v2 in terms of outside interference and Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman versus the Usos, but that's hardly a fair fight. Paul Heyman's not a wrestler. So maybe you could see a situation where the Usos, they're neutralized by maybe Bron Breakker, or one of them's going after Paul Heyman or something like that. And just when Roman Reigns thinks he's going to pick up the victory, that's when a brand new member of the Division debuts. Now, who that would be, we did have some theories in our other countdown videos, whether it be debuts or returns, names like Ricky Saints or Ethan Page, Tony D'Angelo, or Lance Adawahi. You know, lots of names have been thrown out there creatively as to who a new member of the Division could be. But maybe it's time to add another name to the ranks, and this time it will help Bronson Reed defeat Roman Reigns, something, of course, he wasn't able to do at Clash in Paris. And he is in his home country, so maybe he can get the biggest victory of his career in one of the biggest moments of his career in front of his home crowd. Next up, Stephanie Vaquer. Is she set to continue her ascension in WWE this year and win the Women's Crown Jewel Championship? I think that is what is going to happen. As I mentioned, it has been a blockbuster first year or so for Stephanie Vaquer in WWE. Let's face it. She goes into WWE NXT, quickly wins the Women's North American Championship. Then, not so long after that, she defeats Julia, who had really been earmarked as, you know, sort of the next big female talent to come out of NXT, defeats Julia for the NXT Women's Championship. First person ever to hold both the North American and NXT Women's Championship at the same time. She gets called up to the main roster shortly after WrestleMania, and just a few months later, she's the WWE Women's World Champion, winning a Battle Royal at Evolution, having an in-ring promo segment with Stephanie McMahon, then defeating Io Sky in the match of the night at WWE WrestlePalooza. Clearly, WWE see that there is money in Stephanie Vaquer, whether it's the crowd reaction, social media reaction, the Devil's Kiss move, her matches, etc., etc. They're big fans of Vaquer, and there have been multiple reports suggesting that WWE is putting the proverbial rocket on Vaquer and is going to try and make her one of the biggest stars in WWE. Now, Tiffany Stratton, could she win the match? Of course she could, but I think you look at it and say, look, Tiffany Stratton, she's only 26 years of age. WWE's got plenty of time when it comes to her. On top of that, when it comes to Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton, maybe Tiffany Stratton isn't as, I say over, but sort of popular, red hot as she was earlier this year. She's kind of gone through the field when it comes to opponents on SmackDown, and quite a few times recently people have thought she's going to drop the Women's Championship, and she's already, again, received a lot this year from WWE. So I feel like WWE, if they have Tiffany Stratton lose this match, it's not a big deal. Tiffany Stratton, still over, still popular, and has been the WWE Women's Champion for over 200 odd days. Vaquer only just won the Women's World Championship, is in the middle of a massive push by WWE. I feel like it's going to be Vaquer's time, Vaquer's moment, and she's going to win the Women's Crown Jewel Championship at Crown Jewel. Next up, and these sort of final two go together, beginning, is it going to be the moment? Is it going to be the time that the Viper finally uncoils, the apex predator Randy Orton turns on his longtime friend, protege, the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes? It's felt like, well, I don't know how many times I've done these countdown videos and I've spoken about this possibility, and it has to happen eventually, doesn't it? Surely it has to happen eventually. Ever since Cody Rhodes returned to WWE in 2022, everyone's been discussing, when are we going to get a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton feud? Now, it didn't happen initially, most likely because Cody Rhodes, he got injured. Randy Orton, he also got injured. Rhodes came back, and then it was all about finish the story, and Randy Orton was out throughout that entire time. When Randy Orton eventually did come back in 2023 at Survivor Series, of course, he was teaming up with Cody Rhodes in the men's War Games match, and at that point, it was still very much, well, Randy's not going to turn on Cody yet because Cody's finishing the story, etc., etc. Then when he became WWE Champion, it was like, right, surely Randy's going to turn him on at some point and they're going to feud for the title. And it didn't happen. But now it feels like it's time. You know, you've had, obviously, Cody Rhodes just defeat Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza. There were even reports suggesting that there had been pictures for Drew to win that match because Randy Orton turned on Cody Rhodes or accidentally cost him the title. They had their match at King of the Ring in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament earlier this year, and after the match, Cody Rhodes praised Randy Orton, but he stood in the entranceway and gave that Apex Predator look as if to say, I'm placing that one up here, and eventually, when you least expect it, I'm going to turn on you. Now, Cody Rhodes, they keep saying QB1, he's the face, he's the franchise of WWE. So like other faces and franchises of WWE in the past, when they do lose, they can't lose clean. There's got to be a reason as to why. And maybe it's because Randy Orton finally snaps, and it's the way to do it. You don't cost Cody Rhodes the WWE Championship. Rhodes is still the WWE Champion, which is what Cody wants. It cost him the Crown Jewel Championship, which Cody won last year, and it really doesn't matter. We don't see these titles ever. They don't leave Saudi. They'll be in Australia, but they'll go back to Saudi, and they're never talked about on WWE television again until the next Crown Jewel. So actually, it doesn't really mean all that much. So I think that maybe we finally see Orton turn on Cody, cost him the match, and it begins the Orton-Cody feud for the undisputed WWE Championship. And therefore, that means that, yes, Seth Rollins is going to win the Crown Jewel Championship. That's at least what I think is possibly going to happen here. I say, who needs it more? I say, who needs the Crown Jewel Championship more? Not that, again, it means all that much because, you know, Cody won it last year and, you know, okay, it doesn't really mean all that much. But as I say, Cody's already won it. Seth Rollins, they're trying their very best to put him over as much as possible, push him hard as, you know, the one of, if not the top heel on Raw. It's been divisive, hasn't it, about whether or not the vision is actually succeeding. Do people like it? People are kind of still very lukewarm on it and are kind of tired of everything that's been happening. And maybe WWE feels like, well, if we give him the Crown Jewel title, and of course, Cody's never lost to Seth Rollins as well since he's come back to WWE. They've done the whole thing of Cody beat him at WrestleMania 38 when he returned. Cody beat him at WrestleMania Backlash after that. Cody beat him with a torn pec inside Hell in a Cell, you know, and he's going to go 4-0 against Seth Rollins. That's what's going to happen. And Rollins can't defeat Cody. That's the story that they're telling. They can continue that story by saying Rollins can't beat Cody unless Cody gets screwed over, and that's what happens by Randy Orton screwing over Cody Rhodes. That, or maybe that favor of Seth Rollins allowing Paul Heyman to introduce Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza is returned here as Brock Lesnar cost Cody Rhodes the match and allows Seth Rollins to win the Crown Jewel title. Either way, I feel like Seth Rollins is winning this one, and the Vision have some other stuff to brag about moving forward on Monday Night Raw. So there you go, guys. There are 5 possible major surprises that could take place at WWE Crown Jewel Perth tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts about them all in the comment section below. Your opinions, your hot takes, as always. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as you can see right there. We're just over 400 away from 25,000. Our goal is to hit 25K in 2025. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And a reminder, I will be live tomorrow for a WWE Crown Jewel Perth watch along. And then once that ends, I'll be live for a WWE Crown Jewel Perth post show as well. So be sure to join us whilst we're live and get involved and watch the show together. I appreciate everyone for tuning in as always, and speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.